Hello, this is Nellie. I'm testing my microphone. Let me just show you how it's done. This is the class, and I'm going to go into device settings, and you'll see my video pop up. I put it on high. I'm wondering whether this is a good idea or not. We'll see. If necessary, I'll have to go down to medium. I'll test my recording. So this is Nellie speaking right now through the WizIQ device settings. Test my recording. So this is Nellie speaking right now through the WizIQ device settings. Okay, that was neat. Let me go back to the settings. I'm going to test the speaker. A bit loud, isn't it? Could lower it, but you never know, so I think I'll keep it that way. And that's it. I click on the X close, and I'm back in the room. The class is going to start in 2 minutes. Almost 600, if not over 600 participants had signed up for the class, and it doesn't happen that all of them join. But in this case, I presume that if a tenth, that would be quite a few. But I'm ready for the numbers that turn up, whether it's a lot or just a few. And the recordings will be available, so that's never a problem. Millions can see and view the session, in fact, not in real time. Real time is not always easy for most of us. I generally forget. I sign up and I forget to go to class, which wouldn't happen in a face-to-face, would it? Especially if you pay for the classes. But even for online, when you pay, you still tend to forget. We all do. We're basically, I think we're the same. Maybe I'm mistaken. So this was Nellie Deutsch, and I've got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go before the class begins. I'll stick around with this recording on Camtasia until the class begins, and then I'll just stop it somewhere along the line and see how things go. I'm recording, I think, with two devices, so that might be problematic. We'll see what happens later on because I see that the camera is on, and normally it shouldn't be. So that might be a problem. I may have to stop in any case once the class begins, but I love experimenting. So I'm going to try it out and see what happens. If I can be on two videos at the same time, that would be awesome. I don't think it's possible technically since I only have one webcam, but hopefully one day we'll be able to use multiple webcams and multiple everything. You know, teach in more than one virtual class at the same time. I'm really looking forward to a lot of tech developments, and hopefully they'll happen real soon. So we've got 22, 21, 20 seconds to go before the class begins. My coffee's ready, if you saw that. And I'm really excited, as I always am, before any of these sessions. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone. This is Nellie Deutsch, and just let me know in the chat box where you're from and anything else you'd like to share about you. And if you don't hear me, write that in the chat box too. So the UK, okay, now I know that someone can hear me. If one person can, most people can. I want to remind you that this class is informal. I am a very informal person, and I believe in connecting, and formality doesn't suit my personality, so I connect it any way I can. All right, so this is really exciting. People are going to be coming in. I don't know how many will be joining us today from around the world, but it's good to see. Good morning, Trinidad, Mexico City. All right, you can call me Nellie. That's what my mother and father call me. That's fine. And my husband, of course. Okay, Pakistan, great. Las Vegas, never been there. Hope to get there one day. Let's see, Mexico, of course, Benjamin's also from Mexico. Yemen, good to see you. I hope it's not too hot in Yemen. Egypt, lovely. Turkey, if you can add anything else like the weather and how you're doing, that would be great. The Ukraine, love Egypt, don't we all? Greece, lovely. All right, keep letting us know where you're from, and we'll get started in 1 second. UK 26, that's pretty good for the UK. And is it sunny? That's always a question, right? Where in the UK? Hello, Carol. Good to see familiar names and names that are not as familiar, but I'm sure I'll get to know you. Yeah, Oxford. Okay, Saudi Arabia. Wait a minute, Desi, didn't you just say you were from Yemen? Or are you originally from Yemen, but you're currently in Saudi Arabia? Okay, I don't see, am I mistaken? I don't think I saw anybody from North America. Is that correct? Is it too early in the morning? Anybody from the United States or Canada or let's see. No, I don't see anyone from the States, do I? Oh, Las Vegas, of course, of course. Nevada. Okay, great. Okay, Kentucky. All right, so it's early in the morning for many of you. I don't think it's late at night for anyone unless you're sleeping in Australia and New Zealand. And I know they couldn't make it. Yes, this will be recorded, of course. All right, so let me get okay, we've got 39 people. That's good enough to get started. It's not too crowded. All right, so today's session, but before we get started, okay, I wanted to remind myself to tell you, if anything goes wrong with your system, if you don't hear or if your internet connection, something gets loose, if anything happens, don't feel bad. Of course, this is recorded and things can go wrong. So don't take it personally. We have no control over technology and we have no control over our lives or anything. So take it with a grain of salt and enjoy yourself because that's all you can do. Okay, so that you have a choice. You can enjoy yourself. All right, I'm glad the sound is good. Anyone whose sound is not so good, you might want to go to audio settings. Okay, there's a gadget. And if you hover your mouse over my webcam, you'll see all kinds of funny things. Icons. So if you go into device settings, you can set it up and maybe improve the quality, raise the volume, lower the volume, and so on. Okay, feel free to use the chat box and talk to each other, chat, add your comments. I usually talk to myself in the chat box. I can't listen unless I'm writing or doing something. So feel free to use the chat box. This is about active learning and whatever you need to do to be active. I'm not going to jump around, but if you want to jump around, you can jump, you can dance, you can listen to music, you can do whatever you want. As I go through the slides. Yes, I'm going to be using slides. I'll try to screen share and see what happens. And if I'm able to do that, that would be great. Yeah, there's a Twitter hashtag that I'm going to be using. And anybody find it yet? It's TOFOL. Okay, it's teaching online, facilitating online learning. Okay, so you can be using that. All right, so this is active learning for students and teachers. If you can, I'm going to put a poll I think it's going to be the only poll, I promise. Uh, and the question is, are you a student? Are you, well, we're all students, so let me just say, are you, you know what, let's do it this way. Do you consider yourself a student or a teacher? So are you a student or a teacher? Okay, so yes, I consider myself a student. No, I do not consider myself a student. Okay, so let's see what happens with that. So do you consider yourself a student? I didn't say learner. I said student. And you can take that anywhere you want. You can ask the question, now, Nellie, or usually. What do you mean? And Kata says, I studied to become a teacher. All right. So we'll see. Okay, we've got most people, most of the participants consider themselves students. Okay, so almost 70% of you consider yourselves students. Okay, so that's quite a bit. And 30%, 70 and 30, a little more, consider themselves non-students. Let's see if we can, I can't share the results at this point. All right, so what is active learning? Okay, what is active learning? You ready? Did you get that? Okay, teaching as a way to learn. As far as I'm concerned, active learning is teaching as a way to learn. That's what active learning is for me. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be discussing, and that's what I do in my face-to-face and hopefully my online classes. I try to teach my students how to teach. So you may ask, well, aren't you a teacher? You know, why is a teacher teaching students how to teach unless they want to teach? Yes, they don't realize it, but that's what they do. It turns out that they become teachers. So let me just ask in the chat box, how many of you have given your students activities and forced them to teach? So have you ever forced your students to teach? Okay, I say forced because they don't do it naturally. I wish they did. You know, we kind of have to maneuver things and control things in such a way to get them to teach. Okay, great. So I see I always do so. That's great. All right, lots of teachers here who actually, you facilitate, Benjamin. Okay, Benjamin facilitates the process. You don't force it. I say force because I can't, it's very hard to see a teacher not force at some point in an indirect or direct way. Force seems negative. Yes, yes, but there are forces in, you know, in physics, you know. We wouldn't be here if there weren't forces acting on us. Okay, so you can take it to a philosophical level and think of it as forcing, as a force, okay, a very positive force that could even come up with a smile. You know, a smile could be some kind of force. So think of it as physics, okay? Right. Okay, so I come from relationship-based learning. In other words, I believe in relationships. How many of you believe in relationships? Great. Okay, whether you're married, whether you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whether you're living with someone, whether You have relationship with your children or your friends. It doesn't matter at what level, but it's connecting to people. Great. All right, married. Wonderful. Relationships are great, and I wouldn't be able to survive without them. So that's how whatever is good for me, I presume is maybe good for somebody else. So, what is active learning? Okay, I asked this question in a few forms. No girlfriend. That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Nagua. You know, it's wonderful talking about good relationships. Uh, but even bad relationships, are a learning experience, right? So Dr. Mohammed says teaching is a way that students learn. Great. Brazil, lovely class. Thank you. Communication, yes. Communication for relationships. I don't know any other communication, but it could be. Many skills and engaging to become in charge. Oh, I like that. Charge. Okay, to be in charge or to have ownership. Yes, isn't it fun to learn together, Mark? Um, you know, sometimes, people may make you feel like you're lazy because you want to work with someone, or students who say, can I work with my friend? And you think, what are they up to? Are they lazy or what? But it's fun working in teams. Vivian says active learning is when you are involved in your, yes, that's right. That's good. That's a very, very important point there, Vivian. That's right. Good relations can be too conservative at times. Okay, let it. Maybe you can blog about that, Len. Sounds interesting. I'm a relationship actually advisor, consultant. I'm an accredited Pairs. I don't know if you've heard of Pairs. You might find it interesting. Pairs educator. And so this comes from experience. Okay, so what is learning? Active doing, yes. Um, in the learning. Now, if you think about learning, what is learning? Okay, that's a tough question. I'm going to ask you a lot of tough questions. Actually, I don't even know if we have the answers, but sometimes thinking about questions and trying to figure it out is quite good because, I mean, who's the expert? Who really knows what goes on in the brain? We have ideas, but it might be different for each of us, even though there may be commonalities. So, what is learning? Connection, seeing patterns, recognizing. Yeah, okay, great, Benjamin. Tammy, learning is an experience that every person come. Yes, definitely, Tammy. Since the day we came out. That's right. It's been ongoing. Distinguishing. Okay, distinguishing similarities, differences, I presume. Learning is getting to know new information, being able to use it and apply. You see, you're so smart. You don't need anyone. You see, that's my point. I am so happy. That's exactly my point. And I've just written a blog about it. The fact that you know it all. Every teacher is an expert. Every teacher knows more about active learning than anyone else, and not just teachers. Each one of us uh, is actually a very experienced learner on ourselves. Exactly, Benjamin. And you'll find that if you discuss this with other people, you'll find that, most of our ideas are very, very similar, if not the same. And it would be an interesting study to find out what people think and how different are we. Oh, I'm sorry, Irfan. I am sorry. Um, Maybe one day there'll be a translation, simultaneous translation. But right now, I do speak quickly. That's true. I'll try to slow down if that will help. Amira said, acquiring information in an effective way that can add to the purpose. Knowledge permanently and not only for a purpose. Glad you said that. Thank you. It's not a t-shirt because it it has a collar. Collars are not tea. Okay, that's one of the differences. Yeah, I love green too. Yes, green is green. If you know something about color, and we will be discussing colors in the course. And green and pink are exactly the same. They stand for love. So anyone who loves green and pink um, loves love. Okay, learning, knowing, doing. Do you always have to apply the knowing before you can say you have learned? Yeah, well, that's the whole point. Change your life. Very good, Kata. Change process. Okay, so pink, love green. Okay, great. All right, so are you ready? I hope it's quiet where you are because I've added sound. Did you hear that? Right, so active learning. There's a book. I'll hold the book out for you. I didn't write the book. Here it is. Can you see that? It's not upside down. It says Turning Learning Right Side Up. Okay, there you can see the learning. Okay, the learning, but it's turning learning right side up. And this book, I'm really excited about the book because it's all about what I believe in. And I get excited when someone else believes in what I believe. So I found the authors, okay? It's Russell Ackoff and Daniel Greenberg. And believe it or not, Ackoff was born in 1934. He's ancient. He's really not a young person. But he's got ideas that are right here. The book was written in 2008. It's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. Now, if you don't want to buy the book, can't afford it, and so on, you can listen to the following recording. So I'm going to take you to a recording. You ready? Let's see how this works with the screen sharing. What's going to happen before I go away and screen share? All right, you're ready, William. That's great. You may find, because the WizIQ class is modular, you may find that things move around. The chat box might be at the bottom, the left, okay, the bottom left-hand side. So get ready to just click on it. You'll see arrows. Click on the arrows and things will come back. All right, so here we go. With the screen sharing, cross your fingers and hopefully it'll work. I wanted to try it out with 500 people, but I wasn't sure whether it was going to work or not. And let's see if... all right, so while we're waiting for the screen sharing to start working, I'd like you to look up Knowledge Wharton. Just Google, that's what I do most of the time, Turning Learning Right Side Up, and then see if you can access Knowledge Wharton. Okay, let's see, Default. Hello, Catherine. I'll pass on the mics later on if you don't mind. Okay, let me know if you found the link. Once you find it, and add it to active. No. Len, what I mean by active, no, it's not YouTube, Mark. It's Wharton, Knowledge Wharton. And I'm glad the screen sharing is not working because that means that they'll have to fix it. Ah, that's it. That's perfect, Nicholas. You got it. And let's see, I see article. Let's see which one. I think that Mark, Mark. There should be a, let me just check to make sure that's the right one. If not, I can give you the link. Yes, that's the right one, 2032. Perfect. Okay, let me go back. Okay, that's correct. No, Andy, that's the one. Okay, that's the link, and you'll be able to listen to it. Screen sharing is not working. All right. Okay, if you could listen to that, at least at the beginning, it's an excellent. It actually captures what the book is about. What I'm talking about, those who came late, I'm talking about Turning Learning Right Side Up by Eckhoff and Greenberg. Some tea, Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. I hope the tea is good. I'm having coffee, but I think tea is a lot better. All right, just let me know in the chat box if you got the recording, the audio. Watermelon. Okay, great. You can eat, I mean, you can eat and listen. That's okay. I don't know, it's not working. Let me try it again. The screen sharing for some reason is not working. I'll be putting up this PowerPoint, and all the links are active on the PowerPoint. They're not in the classroom, but they are. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. You know what? Let me try something else. Jeevan, we're discussing active learning, and the question is, what is active learning? And according to Eckhoff and Greenberg, active learning is teaching. Teaching. Can you hear that? Bonnie. Bonnie, can you hear me now? Let me know in case. Yes, that's the link. Exactly, Benjamin. Let me just put it there again. It's an excellent recording of exactly what the book is about. It captures all the book's ideas. You can't turn the book off. Oh, I see. You can't turn it off um, because are you using a Mac, Bonnie? If you're using a Mac, it might be at the bottom of your screen. Okay, breaking the strict relationship in the classroom where the teacher is very good, Martin. It is necessary to give the word. Yes, in other words, the teacher is just a facilitator, as Benjamin had said before. No force, no nothing. And the interest and everything comes from the student, and the student is the teacher. The student is the teacher. Let me put that. The student is the teacher, and the teacher only facilitates. In other words, it's based on the fact that teachers are excellent learners. And why are teachers excellent learners? Why? Why are teachers, why are you such good learners? Those of you who are teachers. Exactly. Exactly. Because, okay, what does it require? What does it require for you to learn? What do you need to do as a teacher? If you could make a list, not right now, of course, but if you could list all the things that you do, because you're the perfect teacher, you've had years of experience. We all have, not even teachers, even non-teachers. I mean, I've been teaching since I was in grade 5 officially. Now, how did a 10-year-old become a teacher? And I never wanted to be a teacher, of course. I wanted to be a ballet dancer. But how does a 10-year-old become a teacher? Well, let me tell you what I did. Or you know what? Why don't you find out what I did? Let me share this with you. Okay, I'm going to share a blog post, and you tell me what happened at the age of 10. Blog post on teaching. Nellie Doyle. Let's see if you can find it. I wrote a blog post today on WizIQ. See if you can find it. I wrote it a few hours ago. Let's see who finds it first. I'll give you a hint. It's called Active Learning and Teaching as a Way to Learn. Active Learning and Teaching as a Way to Learn. Hello, Lewis. Acquire knowledge and pass it on to others. Build a better world. Yes, yes, I love that. Thank you, Lewis. A better world. That's right. And I'm clapping. That's right. That's what it's all about. It's about letting go of our control, as Benjamin says, letting go and sharing for the sake of learning together, common good. Exactly. Let's do it. Why compete when we can do so much more together? You got it. That's right. Okay, so there's the link. So what happened to me at the age of 10, grade 5? Yeah, I don't know what comes first, Benjamin. Caring is sharing or sharing is caring? All right, so what was my purpose? Okay, because that's the next question. What is the purpose of learning? Sorry for forgetting the. What is the purpose of learning? Incidental. Not in this case. In this case, it was very, very intentional. Very intentional. Okay, so what is the purpose of learning? In my case, okay, what was the purpose of my learning in grade 5? Curiosity, to get more information about the environment. Yes, I like that. Oh, to make friends. Well, you're going to have to read the blog post, or at least go through it very quickly and see if you can find the information. Create a better world, designing tests to get your mother to test. Was that the purpose, Patricia? Was the purpose to design a test to get my mother? That's interesting. Interesting interpretation. What was the purpose? To get status, learn to live, yeah, survival. It was to learn the material, to learn to, more specifically, to memorize. My purpose was to memorize. Yeah, teach myself in the end, that's true, but my purpose was to memorize the information. And that was the first purpose, but the big purpose, the umbrella purpose, was to get a good grade. And not a good grade, actually, it was to get 100. Okay, my purpose was to get 100, no less. Okay, when you learn from your own progress, you learn it for life. That's right. But some students learn to accomplish a task or when it is forgotten. Yes, exactly. That's right. Okay, what I did was I created a test and I also answered the questions. In other words, I asked questions and I answered them and I gave it to my mother, and my mother had to, this was in geography and history, my mother had biology later on. She had to read the question. I would answer the question and she would check to make sure that I said it word for word. I memorized the answers. And that's how I got 100. Okay, now when you think about it, how how can you do that? Like, I became a teacher. I became a teacher, and I even got my mother to test the teacher. I created the test and she tested me. And when you think about it, that's what we do when we're young. I mean, look at your children, or think of yourself or other children. What do they do when they play? What do they do? When they play, whoops, what do they do? They break things sometimes, yes. No, we don't expect them to memorize. I stopped memorizing when I got to grade. Well, I had to do Latin. I think in grade 11 I stopped memorizing, and my grades went down. When I stopped memorizing, I started failing. To tell you the truth, I started failing just about every subject in school. Yep, I failed, and I tell that to my students too. But yes, I stopped memorizing. Right. So let's go back. And what is the purpose of learning? Well, I'm going to put up a few things. Yeah, memorization is a killer for most of us. Uh, Teaching online. These are courses that have different purposes. And I'm going to ask you to think about. I believe almost 650. I don't know what the number is now. 600 and something. I can't screen share. So I plan to screen share these with you, but it won't work. So what I'm going to suggest, I'm going to put the links for you to check. Okay, and tell me, what is the purpose of these courses? What's the purpose? Okay, here's one. I don't like to give up, but screen sharing is not working. All right, so there's teaching online. It's an online course. If you can tell me how many participants have joined so far, and then tell me, what is the purpose? When learning a language, sometimes it is necessary to memorize. Yeah, well, 49. 49? What do you mean 49? No, I can see that. No, I meant from this course. How many participants have joined the course? You think so, Tammy? Check again. Let's see, the numbers. 548, check again. 600 plus, what's the exact number? This is not active learning. This is just doing stuff, okay? The reason it's not active is because what are you going to do with it? Okay, are you going to remember this for the rest of your life? What are you going to do with the information? 616. Is that it, Oksana? Thank you. All right, it's about 616 for this course. Okay, I'll put the course back up again. How many of you have joined the course? It's, I don't know if it's considered a MOOC, which is a massive open online course with so many people. I just think it's a mega course you've joined. All right, so 616 people have joined the course. Okay, and the course is about facilitating online learning. In other words, how does Benjamin use the word facilitate? What do we do as teachers to promote learning. Yes, without memory, you know that? What about bonk? What about Kurt there? Okay. Curtis's, oh, the world is open. Yes, do you see it? Where is it? The world is open. Yes, Kurt sent me the book. It's usually, oh, I'll get it for you. Here we go. Here's the book. Okay, there's the book. Okay, and Kurt's current MOOC, Massive Open Online Learning, is a great course because it precedes this course. If you take that course, the course on teaching online, facilitating online learning, is a perfect follow-up because Kurt gives you a lot of content. I'm not going to give you content. Okay, I do not, I mean, I share content, as you know, if you follow me, but I'm not, he gave a lot of content. We're going to go from the content. Okay, what happens after the content? What do you do with the content? Okay, that's what this course is about. Okay, so teaching online, the purpose of learning is to use the information, and you're going to be using it in different places. Let me show you where. Okay, right on the Mahara. Okay, now you don't have to write this down. You can also copy, by the way, the chat box later on. You copy it, and you'll be able to get all these links. Plus, I'll post the PowerPoint presentation. So there it is. Okay, that's the Mahara, facilitating online. And the purpose of learning in the Mahara is to use it, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And forget about memorization. Okay, we have to use the information if it's relevant. If it's not relevant, don't. That's another story. But if you want to be able to make use of the information, these are different ways that did you hear that? You want to hear that again? I like this one. Okay, that's another area. That's a Moodle. And in the Moodle, you'll have a chance to, and let me just go into it, you'll have a chance to get a certificate. Now, how many of you like to get certificates? If you could give me a smiley. Do you like to get certificates for courses that you take or classes? Okay. And while you're doing that, since I don't have screen sharing, I'm going to share the link with you so you can join. Now you have a choice, which is very difficult. You have to choose. You don't have to choose one. You can do it all. But if you want the certificate, you will need to join the Moodle course. Here it is. Yeah, I like certificates too. You'll have to go to the Moodle and do the tasks and follow the discussions because because that's the only place where I can track whether you did the work or not. Okay, so thank you for that, Jeev. Are you feeling okay? Is everything okay? I see that you put a lot of thumbs down. Do you have a stomach ache or anything else? Is everything okay? If not, I hope you're not feeling sick or anything. Who's noisy? What sound? Oh my gosh. What sound are you hearing? Jivan? Imagine if I had 500 people here and No? Oh yeah, there was a sound, but it's finished. Okay. All right. So here's the link to the Moodle. Okay, there's the link to the Moodle. You're welcome. Uh, okay, you're welcome to join. Okay, and you'll be able to get. There's another sound coming, so maybe put your hands on your ears so you don't. Ooh. Okay, that's the syllabus for the course. Okay, that's the syllabus. And let me share that with you since I can't screen share, as I've said a few times. Here it is. There we go. All right. So the sounding which comes when each box comes. All right. So there it is. It's going to finish in 2 seconds. Okay. And for the last box. Okay. So put your hands over your ears if you don't want to hear it. Hi, Susanna. Good to see you. Okay. So there's the link. You'll be able to copy and. Okay. That's my door. Okay, that's Connecting Online, one of my favorite Nings, and you can join the course and discussions here, group discussions. And what I like about the Ning is that I've divided you into birth order. So I am the oldest. I have a sister who's younger than me, and I'm the oldest. What is your place? I'll put this. What is your place in the family? Are you firstborn, middle, which could be second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, uh, youngest, or only child? Okay, if you could share that in the chat box. All right, you can't be both, right? You can't be, you can only be one. So in the Connecting Online, and let me share that with you. Here it is. There we go. In the Connecting Online group for facilitating online learning, you'll have a chance to join as the oldest, youngest, only child, or the eldest. Okay, so if you're fourth, it's considered middle. So second, from second up to, I don't know how many in your family. Okay, second plus is called middle. Okay, considered middle child. Now, you know how, what do you know about the order in the family? Anybody have any ideas about the order in the family? Any thoughts on this? The order in the family. Anyone know anything about it? Genes. You know what? I'll give you a little hint. Should the oldest and the youngest get married? Do you think it'll be a good marriage if the oldest and the youngest get married? By the way, I do this at the beginning of the year with my students, high school students and college students. I group them into or team them into places in the family. Opposites attract. And they find it fascinating. And they learn so much, and they know everything because it's very intuitive. You know, if you're firstborn, what kind of person are you? If you're the youngest, what kind of person are you? If you're in the middle, there are typical characteristics for each place in the family. And where Kenshin, you think that opposites attract, in this case, it could end in divorce. Not that divorce is such a bad thing. You might find someone better, okay? But it's problematic. It could be problematic. All right. Can you see me? I see my video just disappeared. Okay, here we go. All right. So first was, oh, I'm sorry, Benjamin. That's an interesting point. No, it has to be, it doesn't matter. A stillborn has nothing to do with it, but that's an interesting idea. And what about adopted children? I believe Diefeld mentioned it, or someone mentioned, what about adopted children? You know, how do you, Or half brothers and sisters, how does that fit in? Okay, these are questions that you might find answers on the internet. I'm going to share a link with you about this that I think you'll find. This is what I use with my students. You may wish to use it with yours. It's a way of teaming or grouping students, just letting them learn a little bit about themselves. Students love to learn about themselves. They love personality things, and they want to know about who they are. And if there's research out there, they like it, like, facial, the shape of your face and how did your personality determined by how you look, and, birth signs. They love it. Yeah, nature versus nurture. Okay, so you might enjoy that. There's also an article, but you can Google it, of course. Let's see if I have it here somewhere. I'm looking for it. Here's something else that I use. It's called a color quiz. I think you'll like this as well. To find out what color. We talked about color before. We mentioned green. Okay, so you may find that interesting as well. Okay, to divide the students into colors. Okay, now I've done this, and I'll explain in a second. Okay, so the question again when I talked about grade 5, okay, was we retrieve information. In other words, we can memorize. That's fine. But how do you bring it when you need it? It's the tip of my tongue, but where is it? So how do we retrieve information? This is a very, very important aspect, whether we're writing, whether we are, whatever we're doing. Okay? So you're blue. You just did it so quickly. Juvan, you're fast. All right. So here's another sound. So plug your ears. Okay. So that's it. That's the book that I just shared with you. I have the book here. I bought it once. It's here somewhere. It's a great book on color. You don't have to buy the book, of course. I bought it. You can do the quiz and find out whether you are blue, gold, green, or orange. Now, I did this when I was doing my doctoral research, and I had to do it for a class. I found it fascinating, to find out if people that you connect with, whether they're gold, your husband, your partner, your children, what are they? And who do you get along with? No navy. Okay, no navy here. It's not a question about liking. It's, well, you'll find out. It's about your personality and how color has so much to say. Now, I'm going to ask you 2 questions here, if you can answer in the chat box and think about them. Okay, what applies to you? Are you ready? Just let me know if you're ready. Give me a smiley, thumbs up, thumbs down. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, great. All right, so are you ready? Okay, so everyone's ready. So learning for the purpose of teaching. Does this apply to you? Learning for teaching. Think about it. Yes? Learning in order to teach. Okay, you got it. Okay, next one. See what this means. Learning for the purpose, oops, sorry about that. Teaching for the purpose of learning. Do you teach in order to learn? So which one are you? Let me go back, okay, so you don't get confused. Okay, the first one, teaching for the purpose of learning. And the second one, oops, I think I missed that. That was the second one. The first one, right? Learning for the purpose of teaching. Do you learn to teach, or do you teach to learn? Okay, what is your specific purpose? Okay, something to think about. Now, tips and tricks. What worked for you? Okay, active learning. I'm talking about active learning. What worked for you? I can tell you what worked for me, but what worked for you? Okay, what worked for you? Okay, if you can share in the chat box something or think about what kind of activity did you do that got your students engaged, they were able to retrieve the information without any problems years later. It was very meaningful. Okay, when you say, Amira, communicative activities, what? One thing that worked. Being creative. One thing. Doing what? Okay, what exactly? Okay, and I'm going to share what worked for me. This worked for me. Birth order. And that's why I shared it with you. And that's what you're going to be doing in active learning in the course. The course is officially starting in July 15. July 15. So you have a lot of time to think about it. Before the July 15 course, before active learning begins, you'll have a chance to take the MOOC, the online learning course, from June 2nd until June 23rd, okay, which is a MOOC. But after that, on July 15, I'm going to be starting a course called Active Learning. Okay, yes, the massive open, I don't know if it's a MOOC because there's 600 plus people, but yes, massive open online course is going to start June 2nd. And most of you who join this course have also joined, or this class have joined the course. So this birth order worked for my students. Okay, it really worked. And this is something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. So as far as retaining information, they'll know this. It's meaningful and it'll stay with them. In fact, years later, my students contact me and tell me how relevant this is. Okay, so this is something that worked. And active learning. I can't screen share as I said, which is really annoying here, but I shared a voice thread to see how many of you were active. Okay, to see if you were able to use this activity. Okay, it's an activity, that's all. It doesn't teach anything. It just, it could. Okay, it's a great gadget. How many of you are familiar with VoiceThread? If you can add that to the chat box. It's called VoiceThread. Okay, let me know if you're familiar with it. Okay, so there's a VoiceThread. Why don't you add your voice? Add your voice. All you need to do is create an account and you add your voice. Very easy. It says comment here. You click on the comment. Yeah, you can do it now, Kat. No, do it after the class. You click on it and you've got three options. One option is to add text. The second option is to add audio. And you can use Audacity or you can just add voice. And the third option is to add video. Okay, it opens up and you see your webcam and you can add your video. Easy. And it's great for story. Yeah, it's great for a lot of things. Get to know it. It's free. You can get a pro, but it's pretty much free. And it's a great way to get students to engage. Remember, when I talk about active learning, I'm not talking about activities necessarily. I'm talking about something more than that. I'm talking about students becoming teachers. So active learning is teaching. It's teaching our students to be teachers. Okay, teaching students to be teachers. And here is the blog that I wrote on the topic. Okay, so again, broadband, that's bandwidth, that's a problem. That's a problem. I totally agree with you. And I can see that my lips are not, well, they are pretty synchronized, but I'm not sure. Okay, so yes, try the VoiceThread, read the blog post, and find out what active learning is all about. Join the MOOC or the teaching online, facilitating online learning. And when I say facilitating, I mean helping our students become teachers, not so that they could make money the way we are, okay, but so that they could learn. So it's teaching for the purpose of learning, teaching for learning. And by the way, I became a teacher because I'm passionate about learning. I didn't become a teacher because I wanted someone else to learn initially. But through my students, I learned quite a bit. Okay, my students are, to this day, my inspiration. Okay, so we've reached the end of our session for today. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that you join the other sessions. And I want to thank you. Use the hashtag to hear more about the current course. And I want to thank you. And I want to just introduce these wonderful people who bring relationship-based learning to my life. Okay, that's Ramesh, that's Judy Diefeld, who's here with us, Nicola from the UK that I met face-to-face, Ludmila Smirnova, whom I have met face-to-face, that's me, and my dear friend Doris. These are people that are making a difference in my life because they are helping me in every way that they can. They're very, very supportive and ready to help. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you in the next class. Bye for now. Have a great weekend and the rest of the week, of course. Thank you.